Greatest of all what? Greatest of all time? Greatest villains? Greatest show? Greatest media? Greatest great goat. Those words get thrown around a lot, don't they? Especially when it comes to anything televised or cartoonified. Well, I will have to throw my hat in my topic of greats or goats. And I think as of recent, I just found one of the most goated shows ever. And of course, it's anime. And of course, it is not shonen. My guys and my gals and everything in between. I am talking about Monster. Monster by Urasawa. Monster, holy hell. Holy fucking hell. This shit right here is intense. Very, very intense. And everything that, honestly, I needed as of recent when it comes to a story. Y'all see the title of this video though. I'm literally just going to be explaining why I love Monster. If you agree with me on certain points, then please let me know down in the comments. But if you don't, then also let me know down in the comments. I mean, again, I think Monster has the potential to be one of the best animes of all time. And then again, rightfully so, it's been said time and time again that Johan is one of the greatest villains. So, I mean, what like, how can you not, like how can you not love what the show's bringing onto the table? It's fucking immense. But let's actually deep dive into some of the things that I like, which from the continuity that the show brings to the side stories that justify the continuity is amazing. This shit puts me in a real blender of looking at what it means to be a villain for real and like how identity runs through a day-to-day human life. I swear to God, this anime does it all, but let's roll it back. Let's roll it back. Real quick for the folks who don't know what this is. So this shit is about Tenma. He saves a boy named Johan Liebert, and then years later, Johan becomes the figure of calculated violence. And I mean, literally, the figure of calculated violence. But as you can imagine, with that said, again, simple base plot, a lot of things, well, okay, hold on. Simple, but not simple, but I digress. It is a lot of twists and turns. And what the show does for me is that it makes Tenma's hunt the plot, but the series is also, which again, it's the extra onion layer. The anime does, it portrays the post-Cold War of Europe and the systems that make and unmake people. I'll break this down in 4 parts. How continuity functions as a connective tissue, the institutions that reoccur and why they matter, the historical forces that allow those institutions to exist, and of course, how Johan is that mirror and product, and ending my take with the finale. So, stay here with me. Urasawa constructs continuity like a detective's casebook, in my opinion. He does it in a way where it doesn't feel too diluted and it doesn't feel like we're taking too much of a detour. Because the small details, a name on a roster, a seemingly throwaway minor character, a file left on a desk, reoccur across his episodes. Those reoccurrences aren't decorative, they're structural. They transform scattershot scenes into a web. But then sometimes the side stories are just nice to have. I mean, if we take a look at the one side plot where the 2 parents are going to go meet their son in prison, I thought that was beautiful. It's very interesting to see that kind of look back on how a parent can deal with their child being a criminal and being a quote-unquote monster, especially when again they love their son. Even the way that they talk about him within the scenes, you can tell that they love their son. It is just so saddening that some certain parents have to be put in that position. But again, that was just a simple side story that didn't even pertain for real to the Johan hunt. But again, it was weaving into the story so well that as a viewer, I'm not watching it and thinking, oh, I don't want to sit through this. Or we can take it to the most popular side story with oh my god, what is his name? Or if we take a look at Richard. I mean, Richard is my Ricky from The Boys in the Hood. Like, I fucking miss Richard so goddamn bad because Richard would have cracked down on Richard would have cracked down on that nigga Johan, bro. And it's so crazy because I wanted Richard and Tenma to meet up so bad, so bad. I wanted Richard and Tema to meet up, bro, because Richard was in the same brainwave on how like Mace Hughes figured out about the big transmission circle that fucking father was gonna do. Like, Richard was on the goddamn case, man. But again, just like I said, Johann, he's now a calculated evil because, and I'm gonna get more into this in my next point, but because of the system that has made him. And Johann was able to strip Richard of his humanity in just by words and constructs. And of course, with the cleanest setup of asking him, do you want a drink? Like the asshole he is. So you know, it's those side stories that when you're watching it, you're like, okay, this is cool, I guess. Because again, the way that they have started most of these side stories, it's never in your face, oh, this is going to be connected to the Johann hunt. It's never about that. And actually, it even kind of expands on what I'm talking about with the continuity, because there's now more of a bigger plot. It's not just the Johann hunt, it's now figuring out about that nigga Franz. When that piece of shit said they don't need names, oh my gosh. When that was revealed to us, like, I remember watching it and seeing Lunge go through those books, and at first I was like, is this Johann's dad? And I'm like, what the this has to be Johann's dad, because again, it is the illustration. Because again, for the longest, I thought Franz was Johann's father, because of the sketches, because of the talk of the book itself. I mean, legit, yo, I thought that they were connected, and the fact that they were, but in the worst way possible. I'm telling you, bro, this anime got me. This anime fucking got me. I mean, concretely, right? The orphanage scenes aren't isolated horrors. They're procedural. You see Faust's conditioning techniques in a chain of adults who institutionalize between certain behaviors. Why? Because they're all stemming from an old regime. First of all, the whole project that Franz has done to Anna and Johann, legit is a product of a regime that Franz wasn't even a part of. Franz didn't have no idea about this regime until he got brought into this world and just followed suit. So again, it is a long line of follow the leader to heaven, honestly, but it's a long line of follow the leader. Those institutional markers appear again and again in other characters' stories. It sets against a specific historical mood, the end of a rigid ideology. I can't fucking speak. I can't read my script. The ideological orders. Yep. I had to sound that bitch out. Left power vacuums and shadow projects that could operate out of sight. The show evokes that post-Cold War decay. Institutions that once answered to stronger powers lose accountability and become breeding grounds for secrets. In such a climate, experimental programs on children and psychological initiatives and institutionalized cover-ups become plausible narrative realities. Okay? Do all those big fucking words make sense? Because the whole point I'm trying to make here is that if 511 Kinderheim wasn't created, then none of this would have happened. And honestly, it's not even 511 Kinderheim. It's really about if the concept of trying to create a Fuhrer or create a monster in general wasn't in the playbooks when it comes to war, then none of this story doesn't happen. Do y'all understand that? The story does not bloom if the project of what Franz did to Johann and Anna never happened. right? And I mean, Franz doesn't become this monster, and he probably becomes a successful, or maybe not successful, but at least a book teller, if he never had the desire to fuck with people and fuck with people in the worst possible way, which is taking their identities. To end off on this point, the result of all this is personal tragedies within this show is because the symptoms of a larger historical failure. So now if we're talking about the sexy world building like that, because god damn, ain't that some good fucking sexy world building? I know it is. I know it is. I know it. So when Temma got wrapped into it because he just wanted to do a good deed to save this fuck ass little this fuck ass little boy, this goddamn twink of a of a fucking villain, man. This fucking this demon. When he saved this man, how could he have known? There was nothing he could have done. Nothing he could have done to to bounce around from the bullshit. There was, again, nothing. So how does this continuity fuck with everybody? How does it take it into action? There's a couple ways that it does happen, and I can even do a bigger video on it, but I'm just gonna breeze over some points. Okay, stay here with me because we're in the final stretch of this video, so it's gonna be a whole lot of yapping and a whole lot of breathing. Okay, time to pull out the papers. First on the chopping block, Tenma. His identity is anchored in professional ethics. He chooses human life over status. That pure decision is consistent throughout the series and drives him into the web of continuity. His moral through line pulls him to investigate institutions rather than just punish a villain. Even when he was going through depressive times, I don't know, I never really felt like he was gonna fully turn. Too many people he helped that was looking out for him in the end. I think one of the many things that stood out to me when he tried to save Lunge, even when Lunge at the time especially was out for his ass, but Tenma stood more on top than just petty grudges, because Tenma understood his intent was pure. He only wanted to take down Johan, and even when Tenma was put in front of Johan with the gun to his dome, he wasn't ever gonna quickly take out Johan, as we saw it happen in episode 74. Again, shout out for that drunk dad for third partying. Tenma battled through so many themes and turmoil due to trying to uncover Johan's madness, Franz's madness, the whole old regime. The shit gets spunky, and it only gets spunky because he ended up figuring out that it wasn't just a product of Johan, it is a product of the regime. And then if we look at his counterpart, if we take a look at Johan, he's presented as both an effect and an agent. The institutional hints in his past, orphanage routines, files, manipulative staff, and he was shaped by systems, since he never had a real chance to be no fucking kid. He was a goddamn experiment baby from the start, so of course later Johan weaponizes those erasures, using knowledge of people's vulnerabilities gained through their institutional histories. And he also started to create a bigger mind space, basically a sandbox for him himself to realize everybody in the world has a little bit of a monster in them. It doesn't matter how good you are, everybody has a little bit of evil intent as much as someone has good intent. So Johan took that fact and started to create the most dangerous things that anyone can handle. He started to create murderers, he started creating people who would self-destruct, he started creating just, you know, pure monsters. But again, just like as much as you can be evil, you can be good as well, which is just the fact that Johan wasn't able to accept due to his life. But again, he only got brought onto that life because of the programs. So, and I have to end it out on my point on Johan is the product in the mirror. He's produced by the orphanage experiment culture, the abuse, the paperwork, the ideological projects that try to create controllable subjects, but he's also a minor.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Not a minor, bro. A mirror that shows those systems' moral bankruptcy. Johan's methods replicate the techniques used on him, the manipulation, the erasure, the constructed identities, when we see his acts played out across the different characters, we are watching how a pattern replicates, how systematic dehumanization becomes contagious violence. This show does not reduce Johan to a single cause. He's not just a trauma or just ideology. He's an emergent result of converging processes. Continuity reveals the processes he is stemming from a system that wanted power, control, hate, and violence. Oof. God damn, that was a lot of words. I need some fucking water.
And that's kind of the whole gist of why I fuck with this show. From the world building to how it really affects the characters. That can really just do it for me for a show, because I feel like with good world building, it can give you better continuity with characters' personalities at times. Not every anime needs to be or needs to use the outside world to affect the said main characters, but I think Monster does it pretty well. And I prefer stories that do that. So, yeah, man. On an overall, though, I appreciate y'all for watching this video. I'm trying to decide if I want to do another review or do a voiceover anime-wise. Regardless, though, more content will be on the way, like per usual. I'll catch y'all fuckers in the next one. I just had to get this shit off my chest. Alright. See y'all in Oblivion. Peace.